妈太荒谬，死了这么多的人，你一个美国总统可以这样子玩吗？这场战争已经进入到一个莫名其妙的状态，你连你自己的理由都整体不乱讲一通啊，它没有一个整体性，反而变成一种漏气自己的一个过程。
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the host.
And have told Tehran they will fight alongside the Iranian armed forces if US troops move beyond air and missile strikes onto Iranian soil. The reports describe the ongoing US-Israeli war against Iran as a religious war.
车臣说，美国以色列对伊朗战争是一场宗教战争。注意哦，车臣是逊尼派，以色列去打的真主党、打的伊朗、打的伊拉克都是什叶派。如果这场战争逐步的从区域冲突升级成宗教战争，那这场战争的性质就会发生根本性的转换，就不是我们前面在讲的，它只是一个地缘政治的战争啊。这也是伊朗啊撑到现在他逐步想看到的结果出现了。当美国跟以色列不断的去炸，一定会炸到很多民用设施，会炸到很多的学校，会炸到老百姓。这个就是这里面最大的不一样。让车臣去做这个表态，其实也是俄罗斯在力挺伊朗的一种方式。这场战争真的改变性质，那事情不一样。那我们来看一下。
And say the Chechen side is framing any direct intervention as a jihad.
请记住这个字 jihad， 吉哈德，圣战开始变成圣战了，是正义与邪恶的斗争。所以车臣军下不下场一回事，但是作为伊斯兰世界有名的战力，车臣部队是非常能打的，而且向来以善战闻名啊。这个表态就会很给力。
Revolutionary Guard units and Basi volunteers have been
纯粹的二次训练
mobilized nationwide, while new reinforcements and air defense systems are being dug in along key fronts.
这边还提到另外一个关键词名词，叫做巴斯基哦。巴斯基呢是伊朗伊斯兰革命卫队你下辖的民防力量哦，相当于是介在美国国民兵跟所谓的类似武警这样的单位啊。那它是可以暂时召集的。目前伊朗已经动员了全国总共100万兵力啊，据他们自己所说，陆军已经准备了100万人。巴斯基呢，因为在这一次啊，就是伊朗的战争当中，他主要扮演秩序的管理者，作为正规力量的补充，他们做了很多的，包括检查哨啊，包括呢各地的管制办公室啊等等。也因为这样，巴斯基民兵其实在这一次变成以色列的重点打击对象，很多检查哨都被轰烂了，被打了。那面对这个扩大化呢，这个基础，整个战争看起来是越来越难。川普啊发表了一个全国电视讲话，总时长大概15分钟多。他呢阐述了这场伊朗战争呢是什么样的概念。
The one that got unbelievable last night. As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury, targeting the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
他现在依然把这一场战争形容成为就是一场对抗恐怖主义赞助国。但是他不愿意用 war， 他依然叫做 Operation Epic Fury， 所以他这个是一场反恐作战。那反恐作战是我们在讲，它其实就是一个反恐行动。他依然做一下这样的定义，至少在外交层级上，川普始终不愿意升级这一场战争。但这场其实已经是个战争了，为什么呢？因为如果你去查，包括像维基百科哦，西方媒体的使用法，大部分都讲叫 Iran War。他既然不愿升级成为所谓的战争，他只愿意用反恐行动这样的说法，代表他有意的在舆论层级或者是在法律层级上面来减低这一场战争的规模力度。那另外是美国国会规定，如果你是战争的话，国会要投票。以川普现在的支持度啊，已经跌到了30几%，反对他的人已经到了60几%的程度，他很难在其中选举获胜的感觉。
One state sponsor of terror, Iran. These past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have ever seen before. Tonight, Iran's navy is gone. Their air force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them terrorist regime they led, are now dead. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces.
这句话严重的刺激伊朗，你等下看。
Very few of them left. Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large. Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear.
在战争史上，没有任何的敌人受到如此的清晰的苦难。但是这里有一个很好 搞笑的事情。你不是说这不是个战争吗？你怎么突然要提出战争史啦？
Our enemies are losing in America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before. Before discussing this current situation, I also want to thank our troops for the masterful job they did in taking the country of Venezuela in a matter of minutes. That hit was quick, lethal, violent, and respected by everyone all over the world. That hit was quick, lethal, violent, and respected.
这太扯了。全世界上普遍的认可，认真吗？你的这个流金谷啊，你的霍尔木兹海峡的所谓被封锁的事情，你说要打开 Open Hormuz， 到现在没有人去理你，他是梦到哪去了
By everyone all over the world. After rebuilding our military during my first term, we have by far the strongest military anywhere in the world. My first term, we have by far the strongest military anywhere in the world. And now we're working along with Venezuela and are in a true sense joint venture partners. We're getting along incredibly well in the production and sale of massive amounts of oil and gas, the second largest reserves on earth after the United States of America. We're now sale of massive amounts of oil and gas, the second largest reserves on earth after the United States of America.
我的天哪，天哪，川普都在乱讲话。他说委内瑞拉有第2大的全球储备，仅次于美国。不是，世界最大石油蕴藏国是谁？第一是俄罗斯，第2的应该是伊朗，第3好像是卡塔尔，但是绝对不是美国。
Totally independent of the Middle East, and yet we are there to help.
好，讲到这里有一个关键，美国自从成为天然气跟石油输出国之后，跟中东的关系发生根本性质的变化。中东之所以继续用美元结算石油，主要是基于过去美军在当地驻扎，确保了中东的安全问题。虽然现在发现美军驻扎也不见得是安全，所以呢，中东地区啊，因为没有大量要卖油给美国，反而是卖油给其他国家，尤其卖给中国大陆、卖给日本，所以呢，一定程度上他们就会开始去做一些去美元化的尝试，尤其近年来是这个样子。这个是一个很根本的一个逻辑。美国自诩说，我现在产样的油跟油气，大量的油气，我在全世界赚钱。中东地区呢，依然使用美元来增添我的美元的保值性，然后呢，我驻军在这里。可是事实上，因为长期的美国跟中东啊，因为油气生产反而变成竞争对象，这样的长期的出口，尤其出口到中国大陆去，那就逐步的，其实在经济的基础上是根本松动了美元在当地的霸权的必要性。我请你来是来保护我，来稳定我的政权的，然后你跟我买石油，我把军费补给你，本来这是一个正循环。所以为什么本来中东地区跟美国绑得非常非常的紧？很有趣的事情是什么呢？在像沙烏地阿拉伯，他们出产的最多的恐怖分子啊，美国买油驻军保安全，然后呢，然后沙特因为美国驻军的关系，所以呢也要把把钱买过去，所以油给美国，这里的钱怎样？钱呢给沙特，但是呢军给沙特，所以钱再回给美国，然后整体的话呢，钱当然在沙特还是比较多，因为油实在是太好赚了嘛。OK， 好。沙特付钱请美军来，并且大量的投资，你单是只是美军是没有用的，还买美元，买美国的资产，这形成一个非常好的一个正向循环。所以沙特跟整个波湾地区的存在，它的根本意义就是我们说的海合会6国嘛，沙烏地阿拉伯、科威特、巴林、卡塔尔就卡达、阿联酋跟阿曼，这6国呢就成为一个支柱的产业，每年大量的贩售油气到美国去，或到全世界，然后呢美国来驻军，他们付出大量的军费军购，然后另外呢再把回去投资美国股市、美国资产，然后形成一个美元的一个闭环流动。
Don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies. Tonight I want to provide an update progress our warriors have made in Iran and discuss why Operation Epic Fury is necessary for the safety of America and the security of the free world.
所以他现在来阐述他做这一场史诗愤怒的原因是什么？因为到现在找不到战争的正当性了。这一场电视讲话目标就是要重新定调这场针对伊朗的军事行动。
From the very first day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I have vowed that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This fanatical regime has been chanting death to America, death to Israel, for 47 years. Proxies were behind the murder of 241 Americans in the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut, the slaughter of hundreds of our service members with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack on the USS Cole, and they carried out the countless other heinous acts, including the just horrible, bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel, something that most people, atrocities of October 7th in Israel.
这个就已经是完全在胡说八道了啊！这 Epic Fury 啊，史诗狂怒运动在讲什么？这在讲哈马斯攻击以色列的那一场，叫做阿克萨洪水行动。他现在等于把美国有史以来所有的被恐怖攻击的全部算在伊朗头上。那请问你们当年打奥萨马宾拉登啥意思啊？宾拉登是沙特阿拉伯人啊，你们现在跟沙特阿拉伯是盟友啊，这已经是胡言乱语到了极致了。什么全部都是伊朗作为犯罪。
Something that most people have never seen anything like it. This murderous regime also recently killed 45,000 of their own people who were protesting in Iran. 45,000 dead.
哇，这个数字又升级了哦。伊朗国内数字是6000，就上次大巴扎抗议，伊朗国内数字是6000，是哈梅内伊亲自讲的。国际统计大概是3万，他自己又加，这到底这个数字我都没看过这个数字，自己又加50%，这实在是怎么搞啊？太夸张。
For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield. I will.
所以他把所有恐怖暴行都算在伊朗头上，然后伊朗敢这么样嚣张这样做，是因为他有核保护伞。哇塞，这新的定义耶！哇塞，这太扯了吧！他在这随便唬烂都可以这样子讲的吗？
That happened, and neither should any of our past presidents. This situation has been going on for 47 years, and
太扯了！哎，什么时候伊朗才开始发展核武器？从伊朗伊斯兰革命开始吗？2伊战争打完之后，伊朗才觉得说他必须要有东西傍身保护自己啊。他这整个定调很清楚，你知道吗？他逻辑啊，他的逻辑链就这样。因为伊朗是所有残暴的发生地，叫美国去死。因为伊朗伊斯兰革命推翻的就是美国所支持的巴勒维政权，而巴勒维政权当时为什么会被人家推翻？是因为你巴勒维政权太腐败，而且滥用暴力嘛，社会分配不均嘛，所以人家才会推翻美国的时候，顺便喊 Death to America， 然后他们就积极制裁伊朗伊斯兰革命政权，制裁47年。但是呢，这47年他就说所有的恐怖主义伊朗干的，你敢这样干是因为你有核保护，你敢这样子做是因为从47年前你们推翻了巴勒维王朝，你们就已经制造了核保护伞。
should have been handled long before I arrived in office. I did many things during my 2 terms in office to stop the quest for nuclear weapons by Iran. First, perhaps most importantly, I killed General Qasem Soleimani. He was an evil genius, brilliant person, a horrible human being, however, the father of the roadside bomb. And he lived just horrible what he did. Iran would have been perhaps in far better, stronger position. He lived.
所以他现在在强调他的邪恶属性，把伊朗伊斯兰革命卫队强调成所谓的恐怖分子，彻底的把整个伊朗跟恐怖主义做连接。所以这一场战争他们要开始定调成反恐战争了，反恐行动。
We would have had probably a different conversation tonight. But you know what? The Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran, and they would have had them years ago, and they would have used them. It would have been a different world. They led with their mission to arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran. They would have had them years ago, and they would have used them. It would have been a different world.
这里完全在瞎鸡巴讲啊！伊朗核协议是要限制伊朗的这个核设施跟核使用范围，并且确保伊朗的核使用范围在民用核设施，然后并且要开放国际原子能总署进行公开、公正、透明的检查。但是他这里把伊朗核协议倒过来讲说，这个核协议是奥巴马打了钱，打了10几亿美元给伊朗去发展核武，所以伊朗会有核武。那你不是前言不对后语吗？你不是说恐怖分子是因为伊朗有核保护伞，所以他们躲在伊朗为所欲为吗？所以伊朗才敢做这件事。那你现在要说你阻止了他的核武啊，不然你到底是怎样？
Been no Middle East and no Israel right now, in my opinion, the opinion of a lot of great experts. Had I not terminated that terrible deal, I was so honored to do it. I was so proud to do it. It was.
我跟你讲啊，整个伊核协议的破局是整个伊朗开始暴走的开始。伊核协议破局之后，伊朗伊斯兰革命卫队就非常确认一件事情。不做充分战争准备，迟早一天战争临身你就完蛋。伊朗的军事高层，特别是伊斯兰革命卫队的高层，就有人判读出来，你如果不做充分准备，战争迟早要开打。
So bad right from the beginning. Essentially, I did what no other president was willing to do. They made mistakes, and I am correcting them. My first preference was always the path of diplomacy, yet the regime continued their relentless quest for nuclear weapons and rejected every attempt at an agreement.
哇，这更扯！开打之前，他一直强硬的要跟伊朗交涉，伊朗确实也去交涉。当时美方传了一个非常好的讯号弹给伊朗，说大概率有机会同意达成协议。他们提的最后一版条件，伊朗觉得这条件很不错。最高领袖阿梅内伊还特别召开了超大型的会议，结果以色列一看到之后，冲过去飞过去就炸了。但是以色列行动之前，难道美国人不知道吗？我跟你讲，美国人知道的，为什么？因为加油机是美国的。然后就炸了，是你他妈你用外交手段把人家骗出来，把人家干掉我以为只有民进党的赖桑可以这样子胡扯八道的啊，川普还是跟赖桑学的吗？
For this reason, in June, I ordered a strike on Iran's key nuclear facilities, an Operation Midnight Hammer. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Those beautiful B-2 bombers performed magnificently.
B-2 是隐形轰炸机。
We totally obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then sought to rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons. They were also rapidly building a vast stockpile of conventional ballistic missiles and would soon have had missiles that could American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on Earth.
伊朗是有东风61是不是？太扯了。
That could American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on Earth. Iran's strategy was so obvious. They wanted to produce as many missiles as possible, and they did, with the longest range possible. And they had some weapons that nobody believed they had. We just learned that out. We took them out. We took them all out so that no one would really dare stop them. And their race for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody's ever seen before. They were right at the doorstep. For years, everyone has said that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. But in the end, those are just words if you're not willing to take action when the time comes. As I stated in my announcement of
所以他现在非常的在合理化他的实施之怒行动，所以我特别把这段给播给大家听，也是顺便跟大家解析整个川普现在的战略之混乱，但他确实有一个目标。伊朗这场仗他真的太想赢了，只是他不知道怎么赢。那面对这种一直想赢的结果是什么呢？我们来看一下哈，人家伊朗怎么做，直接来刷大宝贝。89人哦，今天动用了上百人。这个是他们最近的流行，就是他们会直接在上面写上，这一次相当于刚才这所有重型武器哦，是开战以来最大规模的导弹袭击，光重型导弹上百发。开战的时候呢，他们所发射都是一些旧型的导弹，这一次都是发展成什么？都是新型的导弹。这是飞到以色列那边去了。胡塞还没上嘛？在伊朗的这个抵抗之后，再度的串联起来了。伊朗的对手们战力是很脆弱的，整个美国在打这场仗几乎是乱讲一通啊！你一个全国电视演讲要定这个调，看起来调子要定什么？伊朗是恐怖国家，是恐怖分子，他可以打到全世界，他因为有核保护伞，所以呢可以干掉他。可是你又一边说，你看我拆掉他的核保护伞，这就是川普赢学最大的毛病跟弊病啊！因为他的赢是属于破碎的赢，所以变成说他今天这场其实是要做一个总结他为什么要打伊朗，还有他接下来伊朗要打到哪里。结果他的总结反而变成一种漏气自己的一个过程，自证的过程。美国继续想上强度，可是强度又上了一半，他没有一个整体性，你连你自己的理由都整体不了。这场战争已经进入到一个莫名其妙的状态。